My name is Paige. I'm a 34-year-old working housewife. My husband, Jonathan, was 5 years younger than me and 29 years old. I never had any interest whatsoever in younger guys, but 3 years ago, on a night with heavy rain, I was getting soaked, and Jonathan came over to me and he gently opened up his umbrella to me. That was how Jonathan and I met. In order to thank him, I invited him out to dinner one day. But it turns out that Jonathan had actually fallen in love with me at first sight. From that day forward, he started chasing after me. I eventually lost to the momentum and we began dating. Before I knew it, we were engaged and we got married. Because we got married pretty fast, and he was also 5 years younger than me, a lot of people around me had a lot to say about it. But I don't regret it at all, because to this day, Jonathan always thinks of me as his top priority and his amazing. And plus, more than anything, my husband and I were blessed with the most beautiful baby daughter last year, Pauline. However, ever since I gave birth to Pauline, little by little, my mother-in-law, who we live with, started becoming a little bit annoying.
Hey, Paige, when are you going to quit your job? I thought you were going to quit your job when you became pregnant with Pauline, but I didn't think that you would be going back to work this soon already.
Well, I did think about it for a long time, but in the end, I realized that it would be best for me to go back to work as soon as possible. Jonathan and I discussed it together, and the best option was for me to go back to work as soon as possible.
I understand what you're trying to say, but you never know when Pauline might have a fever and need to stay home. You know, because kids get sick really easily. And plus, as she starts to get older, I'm sure she's going to be sad when she comes home from school and her mom isn't home.
But Jonathan was right there to save me from his mom.
Hey, Mom, you're having this conversation again? Seriously, it's becoming annoying every single time. This is something that we decided after discussing it together, so stop forcing your opinion onto us so much.
But I'm only saying this for Pauline's sake, you know.
Like I said, that's something for me and Paige to discuss and decide together.
Once again, we were talking about my work, and I could tell that this was leading towards another frustrating situation. Even though Pauline was quietly sleeping in the other room, she started crying out loud. It always turned into this kind of argument and disaster. Ma'am, we have come up with a lot of different solutions to make sure that Pauline is never sad. And plus, the company where I'm working also has its own preschool, and they also have nurses that are always on standby, so once there's availability there, we're considering putting her in that preschool.
There you go again, trying to say things that are so convenient for you.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. In the end, things ended poorly between us once again, and I knew that it was going to take some time again for us to be able to have normal conversations again. That's why I made this suggestion to Jonathan. Look, I understand there's some reason to what your mother is saying, and it's true. I don't ever want Pauline to feel sad or lonely at home.
But still, even if there is some reason to what my mom is saying, I don't think she's really saying all of that just because she's worried about Pauline.
Yeah, I know.
That's right, because even until now, she's never once tried to look after Pauline for us, and even tomorrow she said that she was going on a vacation somewhere.
What? Vacation? I didn't know she was going again. Didn't she just go on a beach vacation last month?
That's right. That's my mom. She always thinks of herself and herself only. And that's why I don't think that there's any need for us to listen to anything my mom says.
Sure. My mother-in-law was the type of person to treasure her friendships with the neighbors and with her old friends. I don't think that there was an issue with that, but how do I say this? She spends money recklessly, and you could say she has expensive taste. Well, she has a tendency to want to show off quite a lot. It would be one thing if she was managing all of this off of her own Social Security, but even though she was living at our house, it wasn't like she was putting in any money toward the family. Does she ever buy anything for Pauline either? I was having difficulty with my mother-in-law and this personality of hers. But then the next day, she said this to me before she went off on her vacation.
Paige, I'm about to go on a 3-day vacation with my friend to the hot springs. Recently, we've been busy with the chores, and so we all wanted to go spread out our wings and relax.
I see. I understand. Have a safe trip and great vacation.
I'm going to be back around the evening on Sunday. But just because I'm not around, you better not slack off on the chores or cooking, because it's a given that the wife should be taking care of the house.
Yes, ma'am. Understood. But also, I would like to take those words and give them right back to you just like that. Don't slack on the chores and cooking. You've never lifted a finger around this house. And plus, I've never fed my family pre-made meals, and I'm doing your laundry for you every day as well. Whatever. Even though she's about to go on holiday, I don't want to ruin the mood again. I just want to hurry up and leave, so I should just hold it in for now. I settled for the lower hand and remained calm. And my mother-in-law walked out the door in a great mood. To be honest, whenever my mother-in-law leaves the house, I can relax because I don't have to be lectured that because you have a child, you need to become a full-time housewife or anything like that. However, as I was running around trying to manage my life, 2 nights flew by in the blink of an eye. When my mother-in-law came back from her vacation, for some reason, she was not in a good mood. And immediately, she came over to me. And she started furiously yelling at me.
Hey, Paige, I have something very important to talk to you about today. Until you answer me, I don't plan on finishing this conversation, so you better be ready.
Yes, but what is the matter? I saw how angry my mother-in-law was, and I had a bad feeling come over me. Because she was speaking more harshly than usual. And so, just as I expected, these were the words that came out of my mother-in-law's mouth.
You're going to quit your job at the end of this month. Do you understand?
What? You want me to quit my job this month? But that's too sudden. Ma'am, what happened while you were on vacation? We told you before, didn't we, that Jonathan and I would discuss that? My mother-in-law was going crazy, and that's how I responded, but...
Your opinion doesn't matter. You know my friend, the neighbor Tammy? Tammy just welcomed her second grandchild, and then, when I asked her, her daughter quit her job after she gave birth to their first child, and now she is a full-time housewife taking care of the kids.
Yes, and what about that?
When I heard that, that's when I realized that Tammy's daughter-in-law is exactly what a daughter-in-law should be.
Huh.
And then she asked me, what about your family? And I was too embarrassed to say that you're leaving your daughter at home and instead you're only focused on your job.
I'm not just leaving her.
That's why I made sure to answer her like this, that I was about to welcome our second grandchild and that my daughter-in-law is also going to quit her job.
What? Second grandchild? And plus you told her already that I was going to quit my job? Things had taken such a turn for the worse that I couldn't even think of the words to say back to her.
What's going on? Are you causing a fuss again to make Paige quit her job and make her a full-time housewife?
I definitely think that is going to be much better for you because Paige is working hard full-time and yet she's only able to make $100,000 a month, right? I heard from Tammy that as a woman, that's probably all she's making. If you're going to make such meager money, then it would be much better for you to be a proper full-time housewife at home and save money. Do you understand? You're going to become a full-time housewife.
Just as I thought, my mother-in-law really doesn't know anything. My husband and I had had enough. We locked eyes and we both nodded at each other. Neither of us really wanted to have to say this, but... All right, fine. You're really sure about this, right?
Mom, you're really not going to regret it, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, you're definitely going to regret it.
Regret? Obviously, there's no way that's going to happen. Over a mere $1,000? If you were going to say yes this easily, then I should have had this serious conversation with you much sooner. And with this, I can finally give my friends some more good news. Being a full-time housewife is the best.
My mother-in-law looked like she had just won the fight, but Jonathan had a very distressed look on his face. Do we really do just as my mother-in-law says? No, that's definitely not okay. We need to take this opportunity to make sure she jumps in her pants. Ma'am, it's fine for me to quit my job and become a full-time housewife, but there is a condition to that.
A condition? What if you say you're going to become a full-time housewife, then I'll listen to any conditions.
Oh, is that so? Well then, that's good. In that case, we're going to move out of this apartment within this week.
What do you mean, move out of this apartment?
Yes, that's right. If I'm going to quit my job, then we need to lower our living standards. We're not going to be able to pay for your food expenses, among other things, anymore.
That's right. Let's do that. I was also thinking it would be best for us to stop living together. It's just us. I think we'll be able to save a lot more. We can hold back on unnecessary expenses too.
Our response was unexpected, but Jonathan's mother jumped right on board.
Fine, whatever. That's fine for me. I can live off my own Social Security and the money that your father left me anyway. However, I'm just saying that you need to become a full-time housewife for Pauline's sake. Okay?
Is that so? Well, I understand how you feel, ma'am. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to start preparing to move out.
Sure.
This family meeting left a bitter taste in our mouths. However, just as we declared, Jonathan and I found a new place to live, and we immediately began the move. Compared to the apartment that we were living in before, it did go down a couple of grades, but it's not like we're going to be living here forever, and we decided to just tolerate it for the time being. That's right. I told my mother-in-law that I was going to become a full-time housewife, but based on my contract with my company, it's not like I can just resign immediately due to my own personal circumstances. And that's why, if Jonathan's mother said anything again, we discussed that we would just tell her I was quitting at the end of the year. After that, not much happened in the days and weeks that passed by. However, about 1 month later, my mother-in-law showed up at our new apartment door, completely pale and panicking.
Hey, what on earth is going on here?
Oh, she's finally here. Jonathan and I had actually been waiting for this day to come. That's right, and for this day, that's why we had purposely given her the address to our new place.
Hey, what is this? The rent for that apartment? I received an invoice for $4,000 a month. And also, what is this? Something about a management fee? And I got an invoice for another $300 on top of the rent. Obviously, there is no way that I can pay that kind of money. I'm living off of Social Security, you know?
Oh dear, a long time no see. I'm sorry that we live in such a small house right now. I'm sure this is an apartment that for someone like you living in a luxury apartment, you probably don't even want to step foot in.
That doesn't matter right now. I'm trying to ask you what is going on with the rent for that apartment. Who on earth was paying for that apartment until now? It must mean that Jonathan has been earning a high salary without me knowing, right? Hey, what's going on?
My mother-in-law was completely flustered. It seems like she still hadn't been able to grasp the situation. And so, in order to show her the truth, Jonathan went to get our bank statements and showed his mother.
Mom, why don't you take a look at this? Paige's income is 10 times that of mine.
What? 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100, 1 million? What?
That's why I asked you, didn't I? If you were gonna regret it if Paige becomes a full-time housewife?
What? But I totally thought that you were the one earning money, Jonathan.
Ma'am, what are you saying? This is why you shouldn't have just assumed things and said whatever you wanted.
Mom, you might not know anything about Paige, but she works for a major top-class company, and right now she's been given the responsibility of a very big project. If this succeeds, she's been promised a promotion, and her salary is going to increase even more. Isn't that right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've been working extra hard these days. But we don't have any intention of living together with you again. So no matter what you say, it doesn't matter anymore.
But without the two of you, I can't pay rent for that place anymore, and I can't go to lunch with my friends either. Please help me.
There it is. Finally, she's starting to beg. After that, my mother-in-law continued to cry and continued to apologize. But of course, neither of us had any intention of giving her.
We're not going to entertain your reckless spending anymore, and we're also planning on deciding what to do with our family and our lives ourselves. So, Mom, we wish you all the best on your own.
Wait a minute, Jonathan! Paige! Please don't leave me. Please, don't leave me alone.
Oh, that reminds me. We're actually only going to be staying here for a couple of months. After that, we're going to move again, but we're not planning on giving you our next address. Please do take care of your house, and we wish you all the best.
Wait, Paige. Not you too. Please, don't leave me either.
No matter what she says, the train has already passed. I didn't have time to be entertaining my mother-in-law any further. I suppose this is what they call karma. She did this to herself. After that, for a while our mother-in-law was sending us messages for help every day. But eventually she must have realized that I wasn't going to respond, because she must have given up and she stopped contacting me. Apparently, she had to let go of the luxury apartment and is now riddled in debt. I heard that she's living at a hotel far away and working as an in-house janitor, living a poor life in order to pay back her debts. On the other hand, Jonathan and I were able to regain a peaceful life, and we were so happy.
Hey, Paige, apparently our new house is going to be finished soon.
That's right, it's our dream home. I can't wait.
Actually, there's something that I needed to tell you, Paige.
What is it?
Guess what? The project at work that I was given is going really well so far, and...
What? That's amazing.
And then I was able to get a promotion to department manager. Even still, it's not that big of a deal compared to you, but...
That's not true. You worked really hard for this.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that my salary is going to go up by that much, so I would be grateful if you continued working at whatever pace is best for you.
Of course, that's what I plan on doing. And of course I'm going to continue working with Pauline as my top priority, so that she never has to be sad.
Thank you for watching! What kind of crazy people will we get to see next? Stay tuned for more!